This is Carson TV News, your capital city news source.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Carson TV News, your source for Nevada's capital city news. I'm Courtney Bloomer. Today's top story. Despite the drought, West Nile virus has been confirmed in mosquitoes here in Carson City. While the Centers for Disease Control says most people infected with West Nile virus will show no symptoms, the virus can cause serious illness in some people. Here's Carson City Health and Human Services epidemiologist Dustin Booth with more information.
The first week of September, we partnered with the Nevada Department of Agriculture and put mosquito traps throughout the community in known habitats. We've had 3 positive traps. We put out 20 traps, and we've had 3 positive traps for West Nile. The rest are all negative. So one of the positives was on rural part of Carson River, over on the eastern part, and then the other 2 are at the NDOT ponds along the I-580 corridors. The mosquitoes that were positive are a species called Culex tarcellus. Those are our permanent water mosquitoes. They usually come out at dusk and dawn. So those are the times that you should protect yourself all the time, but if you're doing any outdoor activities at that time, those are when you should protect yourself by using DEET, long clothing when permissible, like long sleeve shirts, pants, socks, to help prevent being bit by mosquitoes.
Sunday proved very smoky in Carson City and the surrounding area as smoke from the King Fire blanketed the region. The fire continues to burn in the forest north of Pollock Pines, California, and smoke from the fire could come and go as winds change direction throughout the week. Additionally, residents and visitors should be aware of fire-related closures in the El Dorado National Forest. As of Monday morning, the fire had grown to 82,000 acres and was 17% contained. Our thanks go out to the firefighters and personnel working to fight this fire. The latest up-to-date information on the King Fire can be found at the web address shown on your screen. The smoky skies did not dull the enthusiasm of the crowd Sunday at the St. Teresa of Avila Fall Festival. The festival, held at Fuji Park, featured plenty of food, games, booths with crafts and music, and entertainment. Here are some highlights.
I'm Darla, out here at Fuji Park for the Fall Festival, formerly the Basque Festival. And despite the smoke, lots of people came out and there's a lot going on. I'm going to show you some.
The kids stuff a bunch of shirts and pants and make their own scarecrow for home. They just have to buy the pumpkin and yeah, just for outside since Halloween's almost coming.
Thank you, Darla, for that coverage. It looked like that was a really fun event. All the dogs and their owners who turned out Saturday for the 3rd annual 5K9 Run and Walk at Riverview Park in Carson City certainly deserve a treat. Event organizers put on the 5K9 event as a fundraiser for the Carson Animal Services Initiative, also known as CASSI. Pups large and small took part, walking and running to raise funds to ensure that all pets in need in Carson City have a safe, comfortable place to wait for their forever homes. Top dog on the day was a Spinoni Italiano named Shags and his human, Christy Works, who crossed the line in first place.
Hi, my name is Margie Lopez and I'm a CASSI volunteer. I have 4 rescue dogs, all purebreds. This is Dollar, he's actually from Vancouver. This one is Penny. She came from a puppy mill. She was a rescue. They were going to put her to sleep, so I took her in. This one's April. She was given to me by a lady who was ill. And this is Dexter. This is my brother's dog. He was left behind in an apartment. My niece found him, and so my brother took him.
I'm Lisa Schutte, and I'm with Carson Animal Services Initiative. And we are a nonprofit, and we were established a little over 2 years ago to raise money to help Carson City build a new animal shelter. Today we have our third annual 5K9, and we do lots of different fundraisers, and so we just finished the Bark Wine Dine, now it's a 5K9, and next weekend is our Pooch Plunge. So you can kind of see behind us all the folks registering with their dogs. We have a 2-kilometer walk, we have a 5-kilometer run, and it's just this great opportunity for people to come out, support the community, help get this shelter built. We have amazing volunteers, and it truly has been a group effort. You know, people can make a difference, and we're doing that now. So thank you, and Cassie is just making progress, and we're getting this shelter built.
If you weren't able to make it out to the run on Saturday, you have another opportunity to support the Carson Animal Services Initiative next Saturday. The Pooch Plunge runs from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Carson City Aquatic Center. Tennis balls and towels will be provided. Some rules apply for dogs who wish to attend. Visit www.friendsofcassie.org for more information on this fun end-of-summer event. A lot is involved in selling a home. To help make the process easier, the right real estate agent can make all the difference. Here's Garrett Lapierre with some information on selecting the right agent for you.
Hi, I'm Garrett Lapierre, real estate agent here in Carson City with Century 21 Jim Wilson Realty. And we're going to talk today about how to select the right real estate agent. You know, most of the relationships between a client and real estate agent are going to last for several months, you know, whether you're looking to buy or sell. The best piece of advice I could give you is do business with someone that you like and that you get along with. You're going to be in each other's lives for at least a couple months, and it's important that you look forward to talking to that person, that you trust that person, and you respect that person's opinion and knowledge. I see too many times where there's just a personality rub or people don't quite get along between client and agent, and that's really where the rub is. It's not that the agent's bad or that the client's difficult, they just don't really click. So that's the best piece of advice I could give you, is to find someone that you would be friends with outside of your real estate transaction. More importantly, and you're probably not going to hear this from a lot of different real estate agents, but I'm going to tell you straight out the chute, interview several of us. We're all different. You know, just like there's good doctors, bad doctors, there's good lawyers, bad lawyers, same thing in real estate. Interview us. If you're going to sell your home, I tell people to interview at least 3 different agents. We're all different what we do and where we spend our advertising dollars. Some of us work harder than others. Some of us are a little hungrier than others. It's important that you find the right fit for what you're trying to do and what your personality is. Secondly, ask questions. Ask them how many sales they've had up to that point in the year, or how many they've had in the last year. Ask them how many current listings they have. Ask them how many buyers they're currently working with. Ask them when the last time they actually sold their own property or a property that they've owned. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions and to really get some insightful answers on who the agent is and what makes them tick. Thirdly, I think it's very important that when you're, as a buyer, that you're working with an agent that's going to be available on the weekends. They don't have to be available 7 days a week, 24/7, but there's times that a listing's going to come up on a Saturday or a Sunday, and you're going to need to get out there and go take a look at that property. And it's important that you can make a phone call on a Saturday or a Sunday and know that you're going to reach your agent. Accessibility is very important. And last but certainly not least, and I think this is important for both clients and agents, is to set the expectations. If as a consumer I tell my agent, when I call you, I expect a call back within 2 hours, you have set an expectation. And there's nothing wrong with doing that whatsoever. Matter of fact, I would prefer that. If my client told me that, I would be happy. I know exactly what they're looking for and what's going to make them happy and what makes them tick. So don't be afraid to set those expectations. And same thing, when I work with my clients, I let them know that I expect that when we show the house that it's going to look good, that it's going to be picked up, cleaned up, that it's going to be looking the very best that it possibly can. I think where a lot of rubs or a lot of differences come in between clients and agents is there's just no expectation level that's set up front between both parties. So I cannot underline that enough for you. Set the expectation levels for both parties right up front. We encourage you to email in any questions or topics that you'd like to see covered here at Carson TV News. Email them to the email that you see right below. And I want to thank you again for watching. Make it a great day.
If you love children and are looking for a meaningful volunteer opportunity and the chance to change a life, consider becoming a court-appointed special advocate. CASA of Carson City will begin a new volunteer training next week. Here is Chris Baer with more information on what it means to be a CASA volunteer.
CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates, and the first CASA organization was created in the state of Washington in 1976, I believe, and 79, by a judge who was making life-changing decisions for children who were coming before him in child welfare cases. So these are cases where children have been removed from their parents' custody, both legal and physically, and taken into the care of the government, the state. And he's making decisions as to whether the parents have made rigorous changes, and these children who are removed due to abuse or neglect can go back and live with the parents, or may need to go on to another placement, such as adoption. This is a weighty decision, and the judge wanted additional information. So he formed the first CASA group, trained a group of 30 people, volunteers, and sent them out there with a court order within the context of the confidential confines of this child welfare case to gather additional information and report back to him on how the parents were doing, how the services were doing to the parent and the child. And that's the model ever since then. That's grown from one judge and one group of people to about 900 CASA organizations across the nation, with about 80,000 CASA volunteers advocating for over 250,000 children, which sounds like a lot, but there's about 500,000 kids in foster care. So it's about half of the kids out there that potentially could have CASA. So it's a national organization, and in Carson City we're an affiliate of that. And we will bring somewhere between 3 and 7, 8 people to the CASA office on a Tuesday or Thursday night from 6 to 9 for 10 weeks, 30 hours total. What we're looking for are people from the community, not necessarily social workers, attorneys, people with professional qualifications, people with life experience, can pass a background check. We have an interview, we have an application process. But beyond that, the law values the voice of someone from the community advocating for the best interests of the child. When you read about these cases in the paper, you're reading about the criminal case. Drug house bust in Carson City last night. There's photographs of people who are in the throes of addiction. They don't look very healthy, and it says at the bottom of the article, Division of Child and Family Services called and children turned, and that's all you ever read. And that criminal case may be relatively brief, but there's another case that may go on there, and that's the child welfare case that takes far longer, as the juvenile court in Carson City looks at whether these parents can make changes and have their children come back. And that case may go a year or 2 years or more. And so we're asking for a big commitment from CASA volunteer from the community. We get wonderful people.
Thanks, Chris. What a great way to be involved in the lives of children who can really use your help. For more information about becoming a court-appointed special advocate, please email or call the number at the bottom of the screen. The Carson City Farmers Market wrapped up last Saturday. The market serves as a gathering place for the community and a source for delicious locally grown produce, baked goods, and crafts.
Thank you, Carson City.
I just wanted to thank the community for supporting us for our 7th year at the 3rd and Curry Street Farmers Market.
One of the best markets in the country.
Thanks, Carson City.
It's the last day of the Carson City Farmers Market. We've been out here since early to mid-May. It's been a great summer. A lot of people have come back to say goodbye and stock up on fresh produce. It's been a super market, and Linda Maroney and the City of Carson have done a great job putting this on.
We love each and every week here.
It's been a great year.
We've had some wonderful vendors. We've had wonderful support from the city and our nonprofits.
The woman in you that makes you wanna play this game.
We look forward to seeing everyone next year. The market will start June 6th in 2015.
Okay, what will we do on?
The 3rd and Curry Street Market will be back next June. This week's Health and Wellness segment is brought to you by Paradise Spa, Salon, and Wellness. Here's Star Nixdorf.
Hi, Star Nixdorf with Paradise Salon, Spa, Wellness here. And today we're going to talk about infrared sauna. It's very new to our community, to our world in Carson City, but there are many places that have infrared saunas. We happen to have one. There are also chiropractors in town and acupuncture doctors in town that all have infrared saunas. So what's the big deal? Using a sauna allows you to challenge your cardiovascular system. What you're doing is you're getting into a hot environment which will make your heart pump faster. And you can use that hot environment for something called hyperthermic conditioning. What hyperthermic conditioning does is causes your body to release insulin growth factor. So the body releases that insulin growth factor. And what does that do? It does something called neurogenesis. In other words, it creates new brain cells. Your heart is pumping hard, the blood is flowing through your body, you burn fat. That's an amazing side effect, don't you think? And then you also build more muscle. If you're doing strenuous exercise and you complement that strenuous exercise with infrared sauna, you get better or more muscle growth because of that insulin growth factor that gets released. So it's called hyperthermic conditioning. And you can find out a lot more about it on the web. There's a Dr. Rhonda Patrick who does a really nice presentation. You can find her on YouTube. The most important thing when you're doing hyperthermic conditioning is that you slowly build it up. You want to make sure that you're not going too hot, too fast. And you take your time and you slowly increase the amount of time and heat that you expose your body to. Infrared light allows the heat to travel deeper into your tissue, so you don't necessarily have to bring the heat up really, really hot to get that sweat that is so important. Hyperthermic conditioning using an infrared sauna. You can do it at Paradise or find your local supplier of infrared services and sit in a sauna for a while. Oh, and the most important thing, I don't think I mentioned it just yet. Drink your water. Have a great life.
If you're planning to cast a vote in this November's election, don't miss the forums presented by the League of Women Voters in partnership with Sierra Nevada Forums, American Association of University Women, and Partnership Carson City. The forums start tonight, Monday, September 22nd. Tonight's forum will feature discussions on ballot issues including the margin tax, mining tax, and appellate court initiatives. Additional forums will take place this Thursday, the 25th, and 2 more next week on the 29th and 30th. All forums run from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Sierra Room at the Carson City Community Center. Carson City's first virtual visit from a director and editor of an award-winning film took place Friday night at the Brewery Arts Center Performance Hall. The film, followed by the visit, was a hit, and we hope to see many more of this type of lecture in the future.
I thought the movie was very well done, and I really appreciated the people who were featured in the film and how they really emphasized the importance of human interaction and doing what you love in life. It was very moving, it was very inspiring. I loved it.
So in the middle of the film, it seemed to be sort of emphasizing that the idea of public love from the public is framed by the venue in which the whatever it is appears, be it art, music. So the better the venue, the better the music kind of an approach.
Well, it might be something I'm going to ask in a minute, but I'm curious what he was thinking when he did this.
Who made such a deliberate choice to be where they were, and how. Which is, and this is the same thing that I felt, because I used to, I would paint. I would set my easel up and I would paint in public, and people would look at me and kind of like, oh, like, do you need, and it was just that the attitude was very demeaning.
While many special events occur each year in Genoa, none are bigger than the annual Candy Dance Arts and Crafts Fair. This weekend, over 300 craft and food vendors will join thousands of visitors who flock to Genoa for this 94th edition of a very sweet event. The fair will run Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Carson City Visitors Bureau has undergone a number of changes recently, beginning with the hiring of new director Joel Dunn. Most recently, the Visitors Bureau relocated to its new home in downtown Carson City, right amongst all the action.
Joel Dunn with the Carson City Visitors Bureau here at our new location at 716 North Carson Street. A great new location for the Visitors Bureau. With nearly 700,000 visitors last year in 2013, accounting for about 265,000 room nights, Carson City has no shortage of visitors. What we were missing, though, is the opportunity to reach those visitors in our beautiful downtown Carson City. Now being located here in the heart of Carson City at the corner of Washington and Carson Street, we won't miss the visitors. In fact, we will be the gateway to everything historical in Carson City, sharing a block with the Nevada State Museum. Come on down 716 North Carson Street. A lot of information for you.
It was a close one Friday night on the gridiron between Carson and Spanish Springs, but in the end, the Senators came up just short with the final score 28-27. Carson heads to Hug this Friday for a game against the Hawks. Following a couple of 0-0 ties the previous week, the Carson girls soccer team broke out in a big way last Tuesday, defeating the girls from Hug High 9-0. And in Saturday's game, Carson defeated the North Valley's Panthers 3-0. Tuesday the 23rd, Carson takes on the girls of McQueen High at McQueen. The Carson boys scored first in their match Saturday, but North Valley's pulled it out with a final score of 2-1. Earlier in the week, the Senators came out on top 4-2 over the Hug Hawks. In volleyball, Mackenzie Tucker had 3 aces and J.C. Roberts had 9 kills to lead Carson to a strong victory over the Hawks of Hug High. The Lady Senators' next matchup will be Tuesday the 23rd versus the North Valley's Panthers at Carson High.
Thank you for joining us for this week's edition of Carson TV News. I'm Courtney Bloomer. We'll see you next week.